Hey everybody, it's Valen from Mischief of Mice, here with another bit-by-bit on OpenBlocks. Today, we're going to be covering these three items here and all the tools involved in making this work for you. To start off with, the canvas, which, allow me to demonstrate here, looks like a simple white block. And that's pretty much all it is. It's used for just decoration purposes. You take 8 pieces of paper around a fence post and you get yourself 9 canvas, which is pretty handy. Then you've got your paint mixer, which is, luckily you only need one of these, 5 iron ingots plus 3 obsidian pieces will make you a paint mixer. And last but not least is the drawing table, which you'll need 5 wood planks plus a crafting table, a sketching pencil, and 2 unprepared canvas, which are different from the regular canvas. I will show you that in a moment. First, let me show you the sketching pencil, which is just simply a couple of sticks and a piece of coal. Now for that unprepared canvas, let me go show you what that one is. That's simply just 4 pieces of paper around an iron ingot will get you an unprepared canvas. And I do recommend you make yourself at least a dozen or more of these because of the stencils you can make with that are around 15, I believe, is the number that there are. So once you've made a bunch of those, which I'll just grab a bunch here, you can plunk down your drawing table, which I showed you how to make there, and you take your unprepared stencils, put them in, and you can actually end up choosing different designs that you want. There are plenty in here for you to choose from, and you'll notice that some of them are actually like only in one side or in a corner. That's because you can actually rotate these stencils on the block, and these are used as a stencil would be in the real world to essentially allow you to make a painting pattern on the dark area you see here. So allow me to grab one here. Actually, let's do the heart shape. And, oops, I didn't actually draw it. You click draw, and it actually cuts it out, and then you see it's transparent through where it was. So I can put another one in there, and we can make it the inverse of the heart. There you go. So these actually are different. One of them is hollow, the other one is an outline, and so on. And you can just keep doing this until you get one of each if you desire, or just the ones that you want, and you'll be good to go. Now, of course, there's going to be more to need that you'll need for the drawing table. I'm just going to put these away for now, to continue on. But let's get into some of the other tools you're going to need to make yourself a successful artist, and that is a paintbrush. So that's simply just a couple of sticks and a piece of wool will get you a paintbrush. Next, you'll need a squeegee, which is a couple of sticks and 3 pieces of and 3 sponges. Which, for those that don't remember, a sponge is made with just a piece of wool and a slime ball. And let me grab one of those. And I'm going to get out of creative mode here, just so that I don't end up doing anything I shouldn't. All right, and then of course we have the paint mixer, which is this excellent little item here. And you'll see it's got a crazy looking interface. It's actually not that difficult to understand once it's a little bit explained to you. You will probably need, before you can go any further, even more materials. Now there's a lot of materials you can get in this, but it's all relatively mundane. I think making the paint mixer is the most difficult thing with the obsidian and iron ingots required for that. Everything else is relatively basic, just a single iron ingot for a single stencil. And you don't even need the stencils if you don't want. A bucket of milk is probably going to be at least one of those. I would recommend getting several for later, but you can just start with one. Magenta dye, cyan dye, dandelion yellow, and ink sacs, which I happen to have prepared a whole bunch already. So you go into your paint mixer here, and you'll notice it's got these little highlights for the different colors that you're going to be inserting, and little meters next to those. Now if I put the ink sacs in here, you'll notice that that went all the way up and 2 of the ink sacs are now gone. Same thing with the cyan dye. It uses 2 of the items to fill up its internal buffer for each color. This is just like some kind of printer if you want a comparison. Now on top of that, you're also going to need a milk bucket. and that is to basically your base. So for those that are actually familiar with mixing paint, this is basically going to be your paint base is milk, which, yeah, it probably won't smell so good after a while. But a good thing in Minecraft, we can't smell things. So let's put that in there. And then you choose the color that you want. And there's a crazy variety you can actually choose from. You've got your standard colors here, so you can just click on it if I want magenta, or if I want black, or lime, or whatever. And then if you want, you can actually end up changing the hue of it so that it's a much lighter, version of it, or darker, depending upon, where you go. But essentially fading out the color and saturation of it. So let's say that I want one of these really bright cyan colors here, and I'm going to make it kind of a toothpastey color, make it a little bit lighter, and then there we go. So how to get this going, you just click Mix, and you notice I don't need power to this. It's just running by itself. Click Mix, and you'll notice that it's got this little slow-moving animation going, letting you know that it's actually working. On top of that, if you back out, you'll see it's actually mixing the paint, just like a regular paint mixing machine would be at your local paint store. So once it's done moving, or this finishes, you'll see a little paint can up here with a hashtag number letting you know the actual color that it is. And you can then place it down in the world. Now, just so that you know, if you end up right-clicking on a paint bucket, you will destroy it. So you're going to want to make sure that you use a pickaxe so that you can actually pick it up. And I've tried it with a couple other items as well, like an axe, and that doesn't work either. So you're going to want to make sure that when you've made your decision on what you want to do, that you have a pickaxe with you just so you can pick up your paint buckets if you want to. Now, I have a paintbrush already, which I showed you how to make there, and you can actually just right-click, and you'll make this little splashy noise, and you will dip your paintbrush in there, and you can actually paint a lot of objects in the world. On top of that, you can paint canvas, which is primarily what it's used for. Now, if you accidentally paint something, oops, I didn't want that area, you can use your squeegee, right-click, and remove the colors on those blocks. Now, it does have a little bit of weird functionality on some blocks. Like, for instance, it doesn't work on grass or fence posts. Weird non-standard blocks that are not just a smooth face. Like, actually, let me show you here. I can actually paint wood. I can paint glass. I can't paint glass panes, and you notice that actually it disconnected the glass on the sides here. Now, I can still squeegee these back off, and they go back to their normal functionality. You can paint things like smooth stone. You can't paint gravel or grass. You can't paint, your functional items in the world like any of those that I just clicked on. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're doing this, that sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't, but you saw how much use I got out of that. My paintbrush is almost dry if you look at the little bar on the bottom there. So I'm going to actually top it up. And there we go. It's now full again. Now if I were to use one of these stencils, which by just having it in your inventory and right-clicking on something like the ground or a canvas, you can actually put it on the wall. To get it back off, shift right-click, and it pops back off. Just like that. Now if you want to rotate it, you just right-click, and it will rotate in different directions. Therefore, if I use my paintbrush, and I rotate, and paintbrush again, and then I take it off, there you go. Pretty cool stuff, huh? And then, it's basically really easy stuff from there on out. You just, actually, let me change it back to daytime here. It seemed to be getting a little dark, but you can actually overlap different colors. And on top of that, what you can't do in the real world without much color changing messes is just by dipping the same paintbrush into a different paint can, and it just resets the color. So if I want it to be this way, and then we take that off, there you go. So it actually just paints right over. I can plonk this down over here, paint over some other stuff, and you can see it's just different layers. And of course, if I don't like it, I squeegee, and put the stencil back down however you like. And of course you can make some really cool stuff mixing these around. You can see I was just messing around with stuff. I wasn't making anything in particular here, but you can actually, you know, like I used a square and then I used the chest icon, and you can actually fill things in and get a bit creative with some of this stuff. Very awesome. I really like it a lot, especially the fact that you can sometimes just change the color of some of the items in the world. But I mean, obviously it will have little errors at times and it won't work as intended. So it's a pretty cool and easy way of changing the colors and setup of things in the world. You can even mess around with dressing up your house if you want. And just for reference, these paint buckets are not infinite. For instance, I've been using this this teal color here. If I pick it up, you'll see it actually has a little bit of durability loss on it. So you can actually get quite a lot of use out of these. And just in case you end up, let's say I ran out of this color, or it's getting very low, and I need to get a whole bunch more. Well, you can pick it up, and you go into here and you say, alright, well, how do I get back to this color? I ended up having it somewhere over here in green. I don't remember what it was. Crud. Well, there's a shortcut for that. You just put this in here and it will automatically go to the color that I had it set for. So there you go, #00EBFA. So that's just a really quick and easy little shortcut for finding the same color for a paint can that you already have. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, please give a like, comment, subscribe, tell others, or just enjoy the video. And until next time, see ya.